This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And a very happy Monday morning to you. I am Gary Sutton, and welcome to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK 98.9 FM and 1350 AM. You can also listen on the web at 989 WOYK. And great to be with you here on a brand new beginning of the week on a Monday morning where we've got a lot going on today. And we are sponsored by all kinds of great sponsors today, like Ganstein and Sparler, attorneys of law and kindness worldwide. But our text line is open this morning for you to get involved right away at 833-478-4729. The Back 9 text line, sponsored by Back 9, York's newest indoor golf installation, right out there at 259A Pauline Drive in the South York Plaza. Check them out today at theback9golf.com/York-PA. But it is the beginning of a brand new week. We've got a question that I'm trying to get up today on Facebook. And I say I'm trying because it's June 1st. And that means I have to change all my passwords over and all this crap that I'm going through right now. So be patient with me this morning as I get that up there sometime this morning, I hope. Okay, I'm working on it right now. So it's, ask 18 million questions. And I just hate the beginning of the month for that reason. So there you go. So all that today here on the Gary Sutton Show. Today is National No Dirty Dishes Day. Which, I don't know. Is that something we celebrate? It's also National Visit Your Relatives Day. You know what? I have that is incorrect. That is incorrect. I'm just looking here.
Different day?
Yeah, I got a different day here. Somehow I put up the new stuff this morning, but it didn't take. So
well, I have them.
My computer is not acting nice today. I'm just telling you right now. It's just driving me crazy. But you have the days, and for that I turn to Mark McKenzie, bailing me out already here early in the week. Mark,
well, welcome. Happy June, everyone.
Yes.
Think about it. 6 months ago, we were cold. It was bleak. The holidays were over.
Right.
No, maybe we were just becoming the holiday. 6 months. Yeah, was that 5? Yeah. Anyway, it was right after Thanksgiving. You were full.
Yeah.
You were wearing sweatpants. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's Atlantic hurricane season starting today. So something to look forward to.
They said it's not supposed to be as bad this year on the Atlantic side, but on the Pacific side, they're expecting more.
El Niño,
which is short for the Nina.
Here's the thing. Normally, we like to take part in some of these days. You know, that's one of the goals is to help you celebrate and enhance your life. This one, it's flip a coin day, but I don't seem to have any. So,
okay.
Do you have coins? I don't have coins.
No.
What do I have coins for?
No.
I don't even have bills today. Global Day of Parents. Day of Parents. International Children's Day. On Day of Parents? They can't even have a day themselves? National Go Barefoot Day. Do you like going barefoot?
I do.
In the house.
In the house.
Not outside.
Yeah.
I mean, when I go outside and get the paper sometimes, I step on a rock and, oh my gosh. Oh, it's worse than a Lego. Also, New Year's resolution recommitment day.
Great.
So if you let it go in March, I was talking to Savannah at the Planet Fitness where I go. I said, so what do you think about this year's, New Year's resolutions? And she said, about the same as most years. Mm-hmm. It wasn't any different. Oscar the Grouch Day. How about this one? This is perfect for you and Kevin Smith.
Okay.
Say Something Nice Day.
Well, that was what, and that's why I got fouled up with this, because I saw that this morning, and I knew that was, well, that could be for anybody. I mean, it wouldn't be just be for Kevin.
Well, but I mean, you're always talking about being
it's all good.
kind and all that. So that would be something kind to do.
Right.
Food holidays. It is World Milk Day.
Okay.
How do you feel about milk?
I like milk.
Me too.
That's good.
Nice and cold, cereal, cookies. National Olive Day. How do you feel about olives?
So.
I don't like them.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So let's dive right into events that have happened on other June 1sts. And I mention this only because you think that for example, Genghis Khan wouldn't have rape and pillaged his own people. You know, we always think of, Genghis Khan invading Europe or, Central Asia, that kind of thing. But, he raped and pillaged his own people, too.
He did.
On this date in 1215, he sacked Peking. And it took a month. They raped and pillaged for a month. So Genghis Khan comes by his
you would think you get tired of the raping and pillaging.
You would
after
think,
a while.
yes.
You just would, but
yes.
Not.
This is kind of interesting. It was on this date, 1495, which means they must have been doing it way before then. But 1495 is the first written record of Scotch whiskey.
Really?
Yeah, it comes in the Exchequer Rolls of Scotland, and it lists, let me see here. I don't have any glasses because they haven't been invented yet.
Yeah.
Friar John Core is listed as the distiller.
Okay.
On this date, 1533, Anne Boleyn, crowned Queen of England.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
For a little while. And then she had her crown taken away later on.
Ouch.
Yeah. Ooh.
1638, the first earthquake recorded in the U.S. happened in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Speaking of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, this just, goes to show you, this is the kind of, you don't hear much about this kind of thing going on there. We always hear they're fleeing religious persecution, and they're fleeing to America for freedom. And then when they got here, in 1660 on this date, Mary Dyer was hanged.
Yeah.
For defying a law banning Quakers, of all people.
Whoops. Yeah.
Quakers from the Massachusetts Bay Colony. So these are pretty, can be radical people.
Yeah.
On this date in 1789, the first U.S. congressional act becomes law. What do you think they did? Spending bill?
Yeah, good question.
No, it was administering oaths. That's what it was about.
Oh, okay.
On this date, 1796, the last of Britain's troops withdraws from the USA. Of course, they came back in 1812.
Yeah, they did.
1813, speaking of that, Captain John Lawrence utters the Navy motto, which is...
I'm not sure.
Not hamburger again.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
What is this on a shingle?
Oh, my.
It's the Navy motto. Don't give up the ship.
Well, yeah.
Don't give up the ship!
There it is.
On this date, 1880, the first payphone service in the U.S. is installed in New Haven, Connecticut. I wonder how much a call was. It doesn't say here.
Well, it had to be better than it is now.
Can't be a dime. I mean, would that have been too much, maybe?
You would think.
On this date, 1908, John Crone begins his walk around the perimeter of the U.S.
Did he make it the whole way?
He did. How long did it take him?
Man, I got to think that's like a year.
Yes, just about 357 days.
No, okay,
Yes.
good.
On this date, 1925, future Yankees Hall of Famer Lou Gehrig pinch hits for a shortstop, Pee Wee Wanning, And it was a 5-3 loss against Washington. Why
Right.
is this significant? Because it was his first
game
of 2,130 consecutive games.
Wow. Wow.
Let's flash forward to 1962, just to kind of make this a little quicker.
I wonder if he'd have done that if he said, I never get a day off. Is that right? Are you kidding me?
Well, I'm sure back then they didn't expect
Right.
any, so
Right.
especially playing baseball.
Sure.
On this date, 1962, SS officer Adolf Eichmann executed in Israel after being found guilty of war crimes. A couple of excellent movies about that.
Caught him in Argentina, didn't they? Mossad went out and caught him in Argentina and brought him back to Israel, where he was executed. Yeah.
They not only have movies, I think there's at least one good documentary about it as well. So
yeah.
they used,
Yeah.
because they televised the whole thing. So, I mean,
And after you
trial.
see it, you don't want to screw with the Mossad. I mean,
Yes.
that's basically it.
On this date, 1964, the Rolling Stones arrive at New York's Kennedy International Airport for the first U.S. tour. And then it was like, are you for the Beatles or the Stones? And I'm
Yeah.
like, why can't you be for both?
Correct.
I mean, it didn't make any
Didn't
sense.
make any
Why do
sense
we
at
have to argue about this?
Yeah.
Why do you have to choose?
That's probably why things are the way they are today.
Is you think? Yeah, it started
was the
back
Stones
then.
and the Beatles, yeah.
Damn boomers.
The Stones, Fred, Barney, the whole thing. No, all wrong Stones.
On this date, 1974, the Heimlich maneuver for rescuing choking victims
Yes.
is published in the journal Emergency Medicine, and that's why today is Heimlich Maneuver Day.
So-
hopefully you don't have to do
Yeah,
it.
I mean, don't go do it if you don't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go, hey, look, how you doing? Is that a hug? No, it's a Heimlich maneuver.
I mean, it's got to be pretty scary.
Yeah,
At the time,
you don't
so.
need to. Yeah, because you're spitting stuff out, and it's just not good.
Yes, but at the same time,
It saves your life.
That's the other thing. So that's what gets you motivated.
Yeah, you look better than at that shade of blue you're at. So you don't want that.
Some would say, the media landscape that we have today is it took a step back. Or you could blame. Can you blame anything that we have done, what we have today, on this guy? He got a TV show on this date, 1988. TV syndication took a step back with the Morton Downey Jr. show.
Oh my!
Do you remember that?
Oh, I do. He was just
He was outrageous.
He was awful.
Every Saturday night. And I remember watching it more than a few times,
Yeah.
but it was always, frankly, a freak show.
It
That's
really was. It
Yes.
was not. It was not good.
It wasn't for anything other than let's see how terrible and stupid people are on camera.
Yeah. Opening the way for like the Jerry Springer show later
Yes.
on, stuff like that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, it wasn't good. I didn't watch it. I saw
yeah.
it once and I thought, oh,
I watched
really?
it for you, so.
Oh, okay, thank you. Was it like watching a train wreck? I mean, is that what?
I just remember, just a couple of shows where it just devolved into yelling and screaming and, threats of violence
Yeah.
and lots of sexism. And he was somewhat of a charismatic kind of guy, but he was a heavy smoker. I mean,
he
always
was smoking like constantly
like
during
a
the show.
fiend, and he was always puffing on a cigarette and sometimes flinging them. And it was just not a great show. On this date, 2009, the last one, General Motors files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the fourth largest bankruptcy in U.S. history. So, what are the other car companies that declared bankruptcy? Wasn't it Dodge and Chrysler?
I'm trying to think back to all the various ones.
There was what would you say? At least 3 or 4?
I would think 3.
Yes, 3. So there you go. But of course, they were saved by socialism.
Yeah. Well, the government's stepping in and saying, "Hey,
Yes.
we can't have that."
We can't have that.
And
We can't.
and still a debate about that today.
Yes.
So it's
Anyway, there were many other things, and the few that I haven't mentioned, I will mention later, during the program.
there you go. All of that right here on the Gary Sutton Show
June
on
1st.
a Monday morning. It is June the 1st. When we come back, we'll tell you about some of the things to expect here in June. Yeah, in case you didn't know about all those, we'll tell you. Right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Back right after this. You know, it's amazing. Mark can operate the controls and play the guitar like this all at the same time. It's amazing.
I was
to watch.
doing the drums, actually.
Yeah.
That too. Oh, it's
Good lead-in, by the way. Really good lead-in here on a Monday morning.
now I'm confabulating two things.
Go ahead.
All right, three things actually. One is that it's the guitar player's birthday today, and his name is Ron Wood,
Yep.
and he is most recently known as the guitar player for the Rolling Stones. But as you can hear, this song that he was just leading into there, he was the guitar player for Faces, and their lead singer was Rod Stewart. So it was a number of things going on there. Anyway, Ron Wood, 79 years old today. Are you an aficionado at all?
Not at all. No,
Okay.
I'm an
Yes,
appreciator
sure.
of that. By the way, speaking of,
Well, we got other birthdays.
well, just very quickly,
Sure. Please.
other musicians. Ronald LePred, who's a co-founder and the bass of the Commodores, passed away in Auckland, New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
Yesterday at the age of 75. Now, it's important because the Commodores just dropped out of the concert for America 250, along with some other bands earlier this week. But while LePred was the bassist, the band's longtime original drummer and co-lead was Walter Clyde Orange. But Ronald LePred, the bassist of the Commodores, passed away in Auckland, New Zealand, age of 75. Just thought I'd mention that kind of as we were talking about musicians there.
sure.
But back to other birthdays.
Other birthdays, other musicians. Alanis Morissette is 52.
Okay.
I think you could call Pat Boone a musician,
Man,
right?
yeah, he was a singer. I mean, that's where he made his bones as a singer.
He's
yeah.
92.
Yeah.
Tom Holland, the actor.
Remember the one album he had where he was posing in leather on a motorcycle?
No.
And he was like 70-something at that point in time. And I'm thinking, maybe not.
Well,
Maybe not.
you know,
But,
just reliving his youth.
you're stretching it a little bit here. But, yeah.
Aren't we all?
Well,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Tom Holland, actor, is 30. Amy Schumer, comedian, relative of Charles Schumer. Chuck Schumer.
is she really? Uh-huh. I did not know that.
Yes. She's 45.
That explains a lot, by the way.
Brandy Carlisle,
Yes.
who is a singer. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how popular she is. I mean, she does have a following, though. 45.
Yeah.
Heidi Klum is 53.
Still beautiful.
David, son of Sam Berkowitz, is 73.
She's still starting a little time to the state. Yes.
Yep. Ronnie Dunn of, remember Brooks and Dunn?
Yes.
Very popular.
Yeah, good group.
Yes, Ronnie is 73 today. And lastly is this guy. Now, I don't know. I don't think I've ever done this before. So I'm just going to play you a little bit of his voice, okay?
Okay.
And you see if you can tell me who he is.
It always makes me laugh.
Oh, it's Morgan Freeman.
Andy Dufresne, who crawled through a river of shit and came out.
One of the
clean on other
voices
side.
I could listen to read the phone book.
Andy Dufresne,
That's it.
headed for the
Just
Pacific.
so good.
Yes, Morgan Freeman. It's his birthday today.
Morgan Freeman has been in so many movies and stuff, but he's done a bunch of documentaries too. And when you put his voice on a documentary, I mean, he's just so good.
How old do you think he is?
Oh my gosh, he's got to be pushing 90.
89.
Okay. Yeah, see, there was
Yes.
pushing. I didn't say
Yeah,
he was
no,
there, but
no, you did good.
I was good.
Yes.
I lucked out. It was frankly, I lucked out. I could have just been a little bit better about that, acting like I'd been there before, but
No comment.
I had to gloat. Anyway, so those were all the birthdays, right?
Those are the ones that I felt were worth mentioning.
Now, what's on deck in June, starting today? So in sports, and there's a lot going on in sports right now.
Yes.
The Stanley Cup Finals start tomorrow.
Man, I'm telling you what, watch the Carolina Hurricanes.
Ooh.
They are unbelievable.
Yep. And who are they playing? Is it Las Vegas or something?
I know they just wrapped up they crushed the Canadians.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even. I felt bad for the Canadians.
The NBA Finals get going on Wednesday. And this is kind of a new age final. You got San Antonio with Wembanyama, who's 7'4", who doesn't play like 7'4", and you got the New York Knicks, who have all these Villanova guys on there that are like really smart. And so you know it's going to be an interesting. I may actually watch this series because it might be some basketball there instead of worldwide wrestling with a ball.
We were playing with a guy yesterday, and we asked him something about TV, and he said, "No, I've been watching the NBA playoffs," and he surprised the heck out of me.
Yeah,
and he was talking about Wembanyama all the time. So.
The French Open tennis tournament that I generally don't care about runs through June 7th. The FIFA World Cup gets underway on June 11th in 10 days.
Yeah, should be interesting.
The U.S. team takes on Paraguay on the 12th. Golf's U.S. Open is June 18th through the 21st, and that's going to be up in Long Island. And the
which do you know which course?
It's at I should know.
It's not Bethpage Black.
No, it's a
Shinnecock.
Shinnecock,
Okay.
Shinnecock, yeah. And the UFC White House event where they're building this god awful looking thing in front of the White House. Oh my God, UFC Freedom 250 is going down June 14th. I saw this the other day and I said, really? They got the UFC, but then you go, okay, the times in which we live, it's kind of a normal day, you know. But there you go. The first official day of summer is June 21st. That also happens to be Father's Day this year. People go, what? Oh, Father's Day? Yeah, fine. A ton of movies are hitting theaters right now. Masters of the Universe comes out this Friday. Are you kidding me?
Never.
And so does Scary Movie 6.
No.
Here's one you mentioned last week. Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day will be released on the 12th.
Yep, I'm ready.
Here's another one. Toy Story 5 is out June 19th.
I don't want to cry in public.
And Supergirl and Jackass, Best and Last, both hit theaters June 26th. My wife, I remember the one time I said, I want to go see the Jackass. She said, you are not spending good money to go see that.
I can't believe that's the movie you want.
Unbelievable. Well, there was it was one of them. I had seen it on TV and I thought, I got to see this. And I said it to my wife and she went, you are not spending good money. It was like my mother talking to me. I thought, it's okay, fine.
All right already.
On TV and streaming, new seasons of America's Got Talent coming up and Love Island. Talk about trash.
And House of the Dragon returns on the 21st.
Yeah, geez. Yeah, they hit NBC and Peacock tomorrow night. And season 5 of Sweet Magnolias comes to Netflix on June 11th. Season 3, as you mentioned, House of the Dragon will be on HBO on the 21st. Season 2 of the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender hits Netflix on June 25th. I didn't see the first Airbender, so I'm not going to see this one. And the 5th and final season of FX's, and you've talked about this one a lot, The Bear, will premiere on June 25th.
Please stop. Take Taylor Sheridan with you. Although, by the way, we watched Dutton Ranch.
All right. And did you like it?
We'll save it for
all right. You're gonna do the preview of that. Mark's review of Dutton Ranch. I can't wait to hear this. If you're into award shows and musical specials, there are a few that could be on your radar. The 79th Tony Awards on June 7th, the BET Awards on June 28th, and CMA Fest, which will air on ABC June 25th, and Hulu the following day. And very quickly, finally, the holidays. The big ones are Father's Day on the 21st, Juneteenth on the 19th. It's also Pride Month, and we're gearing up for America's big 250th birthday in July. A few more. Now, forget them. They're not worth it yet. So we'll get those later. But there you go. That's all what's coming up here in June right here on WOYK. We'll take a break. We'll come back and tell you what's trending in news across the area and what's happening here on the Gary Sutton Show. It's WOYK. It's a Monday morning live from Brooks Robinson Plaza at Wellspan Park on 98.9 FM and 1350 AM WOYK.
Okay, come on.
Welcome back. The Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. It's a Monday morning live from Brooks Robinson Plaza right here at Wellspan Park. Revs lost 2 out of 3 against Hagerstown here over the weekend. I wish we'd get Hagerstown off the schedule soon. Last year it was fun. We used to beat them up all the time. This year they got a lot better.
Not so much.
Yeah, but we're still only 3 games out of first place, 19 and 17. So the Revs not doing that bad. Lancaster in first place at 21 and 14. All is not lost. We have a chance, and we'll get started again tomorrow night, all here on WOYK. So there you have it. You were talking about the Dutton Ranch. You were watching that over the weekend. I wanted to get a Mark McKenzie review of Rip and Beth.
Well, just so you know, if you have, like Deb has cable.
Yeah.
And so there is a Paramount channel apparently on her cable system, which I was unaware of. I don't think I have I have DirecTV, and it's not, I don't have that I know of on my thing. So apparently after they show it on the app, then they show it else on their other channels, and that's how we saw it. So it was well after the fact of the first couple episodes. And I'm going to tell you, this show, what Taylor Sheridan did for Yellowstone, he's doing for this show. And I think he is sensitive to the, killer mentality of these people, because it's like his basic premise is that we're protecting American heritage and family values by killing people we don't like.
It's kind of like Al Pacino protecting his family in The Godfather. I protected my family.
Yes, but with less logic and it's just crazy.
Yeah, they came on our land. Oh, okay, kill him.
Yeah, so Carter, remember, so this show, this is after Dutton gets killed. Kevin Costner.
Ranch burns down or something like that.
And I didn't catch that part, but so they took off for Texas, and they're going to start their own ranch, Dutton Ranch.
Right.
And they're running into people like Annette Benning, who runs another big ranch, so they're gonna clash heads. And Ed Harris is also some grizzled old veteran. And he can walk. I don't think he could run, but I think he can definitely walk. He's very skinny in a lot of these shots. And there's a lot of drinking. I mean, the amount of drinking in this show makes Mad Men look like, an AA meeting. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
I mean, it's unbelievable, this show. Anyway, but I think he's sensitive because I don't think I saw any killing in half of the 2 episodes that I saw. So, but
maybe he thought he'd start you out with a drink and then move gradually into killing.
That could be. I think he's sensitive to it, but he wants to work into it slowly. But there's plenty of sex, gratuitous and otherwise, all kinds of lots of extra skin, and Carter. Remember the boy that they were like. What were they doing?
It was kind of like fostering? A surrogate son kind of thing.
Yeah. And because they were all
in a twisted, perverted kind of way. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were all outcasts, right? So it would make sense that maybe they would be a family, maybe. And, the first time I see Carter, there's some girl having her way with him in his bedroom.
They're making friends.
Yes. And then Beth comes in and catches them. And
who's been known to do that a few times.
Oh, my gosh. And it was just like, what is this show? What is going on? And Beth, here's the thing. Rip has had to kill, spoiler alert, Rip has had to kill lots of humans in Yellowstone. But but
all for a good reason.
Yes. Yeah. But in Dutton Ranch, so far.
And that's in the Sheridan way of thinking. Yeah.
Exactly. But they had apparently hoof and mouth disease got into the herd or something. So they had to kill all the cows they had just gotten.
Oh, my.
Yes. So it was devastating. And you could see, through the acting of Cole Hauser there, who plays Rip, he was distraught by having to kill a lot of seemingly healthy cows.
He doesn't mind killing a whole lot of people, but
that's
the cows, that's
yes,
another story.
That's exactly right. That is exactly the point.
That's exactly what.
It's like it does not make any sense.
Yeah, he has more sadness about the cows than he does about the people. Yeah,
I mean, at one point he collapses he goes down to the ground, and he lays up and he looks up at the stars.
At which time you went.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you?
I just love it. I get more joy out of your reaction to these shows than.
And here's the thing.
Taylor Sheridan must be stopped.
I got to. Yes, he really should be. And then the last thing I'll say about this show is the attitude that Kelly Riley, her entire.
Beth.
Yes,
Beth
she plays. She plays Beth. Now, in the other show, I think it was okay because she was one of many characters, right? She had a couple of her brothers. She had obviously her father, who was the main character. There was lots of stuff going on.
His name was Kevin Costner, by the way.
Yeah. And she would pop in every once in a while, give you that little dose of Beth attitude.
Right.
But I don't think she can carry a show. I mean, she's always got this little smirk on her face, and she just kind of walks like, there's just something about
she can swing
her.
It, by the way.
She can, but how much of that do you want to see?
There's a certain there's a proportionality here.
There is,
and by God, we need to get it back.
So I don't think Dutton Ranch is going to be. Well, I don't know. They might have had a lot of views. They had a couple of commercials for Marshalls.
Yeah, which is also that's his son.
Yes. That's Casey.
Kevin Costner.
That was Casey.
Who's now in charge of the law.
A lawman.
Yeah, he's a lawman.
It's a lawman.
Well, it's a next graduated step up. I
think it said that there were 25. I think they said they had 25
You're going to need counseling by the end of this season.
Crazy.
You realize that.
I don't understand the show.
If these two shows stick it out,
I mean,
Mark is going to be coming in here going. It'll be like Looney Tunes.
Is it we're all going back to the old West where everybody just does what they want?
I guess. By the way, how desperate are you to have a cheap professional housekeeper? How much privacy are you willing to waive? I say that because there's a tech startup that's offering to clean people's homes for free.
For free.
You ready for this? There's just one little bitty catch.
Uh-oh.
The cleaners will wear cameras to capture everything they see and do. It's quite a reversal of those who secretly record housekeepers. But it's a German company called Micro AGI with an app called Shift, SHIFT. And the free offer is for people living in New York City. They film everything that happens in your place to, quote, help train the next generation of household robots, unquote. The Shift app website insists names, faces, or other personal information is automatically anonymized, and any sensitive, I guess that means removed, any sensitive details are blurred before it's ever used, including information from screens and ID cards, pieces of paper, and cell phones to help protect both you and your home. What could possibly go wrong here? Yeah. I mean, even if you trust the premise or are just that desperate, can you imagine anything more invasive than having every inch of your home recorded and fed to a computer, blurred or not?
Just to get free housekeeping?
Just to get free housekeeping. I think not. I think not. No. This sounds like something more surreptitious at work here.
Yeah, it's opening a can of worms you really don't want to do.
No, and that's it. And so,
I wonder if they clean a can of worms.
Well, they might do that. By the way, here's a guy, a new fear. Screaming while on a roller coaster and having a chicken nugget fly into your mouth.
Where did the chicken nugget come from?
Yeah, here we go. A social media influencer named Alan Farrell is in hot water. After a stunt where he tried to eat a 10-piece chicken nugget while on a roller coaster. He snuck the nuggets onto the roller coaster by putting them in his underwear.
Oh, great.
And then he had a friend film him while he ate them on the ride. He even dunked them in sauce, which was a mess, naturally. This wasn't a kiddie ride either. It was on the Millennium Force at Cedar Point in Ohio. It was the world's first coaster to exceed 300 feet in the air and reaches 93 miles an hour. It lasts for 2 minutes. The stunt may seem funny or silly at first, but it's very dangerous, particularly as a choking hazard. Also, loose items can turn into projectiles on a roller coaster and hit other people. Cedar Point has seen the video, and they immediately banned Allen for life. And he's also barred from going to any Six Flags theme parks ever again. And for what it's worth, Allen says he understands why they came down so hard on him, because they need to be serious about enforcing safety rules.
So even he knows that he went too far.
Yeah, especially things that could inspire copycats.
Yeah.
Still, he adds that he's disappointed because he's been going to Cedar Point since he was a kid and is a season pass holder, or was until just recently. The video Allen made is still online, and you can see how he struggles not to choke as he's going down the first hill. The nuggets are packed in his cheeks.
Unbelievable.
As brainless as this was, agreed, Allen tried not to endanger others. He claims he sat in the last row specifically so that no nuggets or sauce would fly back, hitting the riders behind him. Oh, what a guy. If you care, he managed to eat 7 of the 10 nuggets while he was on the ride.
Now, see, now I would wish that Beth was riding with him. Take care of him.
Well,
I know, and the other thing that you mentioned there was, this he didn't want other people to copy it. Well, it's funny you should mention that, because there is a story out, and I have it here, about apparently 2 TikTok trends. Officials are really worried about people doing this. So here's the kind of stuff that some people just check this out.
Kids ending up in the ER after falling ill to Benadryl overdoses in an attempt to induce hallucinations. 5 teens in 1 week ending up in a San Diego hospital. And in Provo, Utah, a teenager involved in a near-fatal crash. His skull crushed while couch surfing, in which a couch is towed by a vehicle with a passenger riding or standing on it while the driver speeds and turns erratically. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Are we on drugs? I mean, really?
It's unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
Are we so bored? It's crazy.
Couch surfing. Had never heard of that until just now. Now, in your case, you just kind of get crazy by watching Dutton Ranch,
That's it.
or the Marshalls. But
yes. Well, and of course, the funniest. Well, I don't know if it's the funniest part, but Deb is like, she's like, shh. First, she starts, shh. Shh.
Oh no! Because you were
I'm in full mode.
You were being Mark.
She says, "You're talking. Are you going to talk through the whole thing?" And I'm like, "But look at this chick. Who wants to be with Beth? Who wants to be with Beth?
You'd sooner be couch surfing.
Even as a matter of fact, when Rip was obviously emotionally distraught at having to destroy these cows,
right?
Who were innocent, and he even tells her that I'm going to need a minute, honey.
Could you back it down a little bit?
Well, he's like, I need some care. I'm going to. She doesn't say, "Oh, well, let me help you." No,
give you a hug.
Yeah, she goes and gets a drink naturally,
right? And
he goes, and he's alone. He's got alone time with the stars.
I love to set you off.
Oh
these
my
things. It's
God.
just so much fun.
What kind of show is this?
There it is. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got more coming your way here this morning on the Gary Sutton Show right here on WOYK. I was going to say.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
Yeah. More powerful than a locomotive.
More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane. No.
Superman.
It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman. Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth,
justice, and the American way.
And now, another exciting episode in the Adventure.
All right,
Yeah,
so much for that.
George Reeves.
88 years ago today,
Yeah.
on this date, 1938, Superman appeared in the first issue
Marvel?
of Action Comics.
Oh, it was Action Comics.
Comics.
Yeah, not Marvel.
In 2014, a copy of that sold for $3.2 million. I
believe
the
that.
highest price ever paid for a comic book.
Yeah. Here's something in terms of a celebration. This was strange. An upcoming celebration of America's 250th anniversary, the Great American State Fair. Recently, and it was set up for July 4th, recently had several musical guests back out, the Commodores being one of them. There were some other ones as well, over the event's ties to President Donald Trump. Now, President Trump himself is slated to headline the festivities, the organizers said on Saturday. I understand artists are getting the yips having to do with their performance, Trump posted in his social media platform, Truth Social, Saturday, adding that he was thinking of bringing the man who some say is the greatest president in history, the GOAT, Donald J. Trump, to take the place of these highly paid, third-rate artists. I will admit that a lot of them were third-rate at this particular point, but, the group organizing the June Fair on Washington's National Mall, Freedom 250, confirmed the billing in a statement writing, "We are excited to announce that President Trump will personally kick off this historic celebration on Wednesday, June 24th. President Trump's social media post twice referenced him holding a rally Wednesday. How'd that work out last time? Without a specific date. The White House did not immediately clarify the discrepancy. Danielle Alvarez, a spokesperson for Freedom 250, emphasized the broader fair that is scheduled from June 25th through July 10th includes an array of exhibits, family-friendly attractions, musical performances, flyovers, and more, but that the president would now kick that off on the June 24th. President Trump was dismissive of the acts that backed out, suggesting in a follow-up post that the solution is to cancel it. We should have a giant Make America Great Again rally for 250 instead of having overpriced singers who nobody wants to hear, whose music is boring, and yet who do nothing but complain, Trump said on social media. Freedom 250 is billed as a nonpartisan, but was launched last year by Trump and is led by a former State Department appointee from President Trump's first term. Several artists, including Bret Michaels, the Commodores, and Martina McBride, dropped out last week. Michaels and other artists have said that they were misled about the theme of the shows or otherwise wary of being caught up in a political fight. McBride, in a statement on Instagram, said she had been presented with an opportunity to perform at a nonpartisan event, but that turned out to be misleading. Other artists plan to attend, including Florida, Fab Morvan of Milli Vanilli and Vanilla Ice. The latter's representative previously said that the Ice Baby rapper was proud to help celebrate America's 250th anniversary. So we'll see what comes out of this. Everything is a major production anymore, isn't it? So there you go.
You mentioned movies earlier. How about let's check the weekend movie box office?
It was a monster weekend at the box office, literally. Gen Z moviegoers packed theaters for not one, but two breakout horror hits.
Sometimes I'm scared I'll get lost.
A24's Back Room scared up a jaw-dropping, record-smashing $81 million domestically during its opening weekend. Meantime, Focus Features Obsession kept the screams coming, pulling in $24.6 million in its third weekend and blowing past the $100 million mark domestically. The twist, both films were directed by YouTube creators and on shoestring budgets. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
Yeah, that Back Room is kind of interesting because if you're on social media at all and you follow any entertainment stuff, the trailers that came up,
right?
It was. I watched it a couple of times. Like, what is there something happening here that I can't see? Because it doesn't look like anything's happening. So I'm not surprised that there were YouTuber directors involved. So
I saw where New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani did not attend an annual parade honoring Israel on Sunday, breaking with a decades-long political custom because of his support of Palestinian rights. Though it has gone by different names over the years, the Israel Day Parade has always been a must-attend event for mayors, governors, and other political leaders eager to win over the throngs of flag-waving revelers who congregate on Fifth Avenue to celebrate the birth of the Jewish state in 1948. Not so for Mamdani. 2 weeks ago, the mayor's office released a video commemorating the Nakba, an Arabic word for catastrophe that is used to describe the displacement of an estimated 700,000 Palestinians during the 1948 Arab-Israeli war that followed Israel's establishment. Quote, said Mamdani, I said on the campaign trail that I wouldn't be attending the parade, and I've made my views on the Israeli government abundantly clear, unquote. Mamdani said at a press conference on Thursday. So he did not attend, something that most mayors have done over the years. So he broke with tradition on that.
a lot of people like cruising, and Carnival Cruise, pretty popular, cheaper cruise line and easier to afford. But they had a big data breach over the weekend, so something to pay attention to if you've ever been on a Carnival Cruise.
Yeah.
Information belonging to nearly 6 million travelers was hacked. The breach included names, passport numbers, dates of birth, and driver's license details. The company says a social engineering attack allowed an unauthorized actor to deceive an employee to gain access to the data. In addition to Carnival Cruise Line, the company's portfolio also includes Holland America and Princess Cruise Lines, among others. The company is offering customers in the U.S. 2 years of free credit monitoring. Pam Huso, Fox News.
Social engineering, that means somebody clicked on a link that they shouldn't have.
Yeah, not a good thing.
No.
Well, coming up next hour, we have got a full hour for you because that's all we have the choice to do. Anyway, Congressman Scott Perry from the 10th Congressional District will join us to talk about and I'm going to ask a question. What is the role of a congressman with regard to the president's policies? We've been talking about, do you go lockstep, or how do you make the choices that you make? Because I think all of us, in terms of our representatives, want to know how that all works. And then Kevin Smith joins us at 7:35. He is the chief kindness chaser at Kindness Worldwide. And at 7:52, Andrew Harold, lawyer with Anstein and Sparler Attorneys at Law, talks about a point of law with us when he joins us here on the Gary Sutton Show right here on WOYK. But right now, we get ready to take a break at the top of the hour, and we'll be right back. Don't despair. WOYK News Time is 7 o'clock.
better love carved out of caring.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK, where it's 7:03, all brought to you by kindnessworldwide.org, where, why not you? Why not us? Why not right now? Be the good, see the good, go the extra mile. That's what Kevin Smith tells us all the time on kindnessworldwide.org. Also, Einstein and Sparler, attorneys at law, 117 East Market Street right here in York, where you can get the best in legal representation, I think, anywhere in the area. And they've been around since 1937. Why don't you check them out today? They're great when it comes to estate planning, estate administration, family law, business law, elder law, municipal law. 117 East Market Street in York. Give them a call today at 717-846-8811 and tell them Gary Sutton sent you to get an appointment there at Einstein and Sparler, attorneys at law. And don't forget to interact with us during the show at the Back 9 text line, 833-478-4729. That's 833-478-4729. Go to theback9golf.com/York-PA to find out how you can get a summer membership at the Back 9, where I spend an awful lot of time, by the way. If it gets too hot outside, gets too rainy, whatever, you can go indoors and play golf during the day, because that's what we do, right? We find ulterior ways of doing it. Our question of the day today is at Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. You can also find us on Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn. And the question is, this is the anniversary today of CNN starting. What have you seen as the major differences in the way news has been presented since CNN got started back in the day? Wanted to, and you can check my video question there this morning and answer that at Gary Sutton Show on Facebook, and we hope that you will do that this morning. Next up this morning, Congressman Scott Perry from the 10th Congressional District joins us here on the Gary Sutton Show. Good morning, Congressman. How are you? Do we have the Congressman there? I think we lost him for a moment, so we'll try to get him back. Do we have him now?
I'm here, Gary.
There you are. Yeah, there was this horrible squeak, and I went, oh, my gosh, I lost you, but I've got you back. And great to have you in this morning. Happy June to you as we start a brand new month today.
Happy June to you, and hopefully you don't have to spend too much time. I know you're advertising, but you want to be out. You want to be out on the course, not doing the alternative.
Well, moderation. Moderation
right,
there, Congressman.
Right.
We go inside when we have to, and we're outside most of the time. I want it to be nice and dry outside, and I do have an appointment today, I think, right after the show, to go out and check the pastures of one of our local golf establishments. So, we will do that. Anyway, great to have you in this morning. I wanted to ask you a question. I don't think I've ever asked you this question in all the years I've known you. And you're probably sitting there going, oh, no. But I was watching some of the primaries the last couple of weeks, and I was looking at, like, John Cornyn going down. Right. And one of the things that came up in a conversation I had with somebody, just in general, not about you or anybody else, but I wanted to ask you, since you're the one person I could do that with today, what is the role of a congressman or a senator with regard to the president's policies? So, if the president is the head of your party, like in the case of John Cornyn, he's the head of the, you've got President Trump, who's seen as the head of the Republican Party, John Cornyn, the senator, a longtime senator, who's now, going to get pushed out of there. What's the balance point, I guess is what I'm asking here, with no particular thought in mind. What's the balance point between representing what the president wants and doing what your constituents want and finding the happy medium in between? Is that a good question?
No, that's a great question, Gary, because it's tough. The president has an agenda. The president, regardless of what party, has obviously won. That's why he or she's the president. Right. And they want to accomplish their agenda. And certainly when it comes to their own party, there's an expectation. I think it's somewhat reasonable that, you're going to go along with that because you're in the same party the president just won, et cetera, et cetera. Now, it depends on the size of the win and the power of the electorate, the people that voted for the president, how much that they're standing with the president, how much they support the president. Sure. The less support, then you feel probably that you don't have to do, if you have a difference of opinion. Now, generally speaking, I think most of us are going to have the same opinion on most things. But then you have this whole, in the legislature, we seem to call it the Article 1, Article 2 question. So Article 1, of course, is the legislature, the Congress. Article 2 is the presidency, the executive branch. And you have, I think this is absolutely right and true, you have responsibilities and a duty to your own article branch. So even though the president might want something, if you look constitutionally, you say, look, that's a little questionable, then I'm going to have a difference of opinion with the president there. And then, of course, you got it's just simple questions of right and wrong. You got questions of staff, and people underestimate the power of staff. You've got your own staff. You've got the president's staff. You got lawyers for both sides. They're all looking at Article 1, Article 2 thing, precedents, so on and so forth. How is the legislation written? I know the president wants X, but the legislation is written. It's garbage, right? And the president, he's dealing with 53,000 other things, and he's not reading, he's not reading all the subtleties and the nuances. Maybe staff's not telling him all these things. So the president thinks he wants this policy. And you probably want the policy too. What you don't want is this bill. But that's the only bill he has. And so he's out asking for, let's just say, whatever policy it is in that bill, and you're saying, I'm not voting for that bill. It doesn't mean you don't want the policy. It means you don't want that
in that form. Yeah.
And we have that constantly. And I'm going to give you an upfront example right now. When we did the housing bill in the House of Representatives a couple months ago, it was bipartisan. I didn't think it was great. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't transformational the way that I wished it would be. But on ballots, it was decent. So I voted for it. It went to the Senate. They didn't do anything with it. They sent us back a complete, in my opinion, piece of garbage, mostly written by Elizabeth Warren, which is, generally just socialist policy, and they wanted us to pass that. And, of course, the president wants to bring down housing prices. We all do. But we're not going to do it, in my opinion, with the Elizabeth Warren bill. And so, but the president sees a bill that one bill passed the House, one bill passed the Senate. He wants a housing bill. Well, I'm not voting for the Elizabeth Warren housing bill. I voted for the House housing bill. But the president wants a bill. And when you talk to him on occasion, he'll say, I see you voted against something I wanted, the housing bill or what have you. Well, I did, Mr. President. I want housing too, but I don't want that Elizabeth Warren thing. And I don't know that his staff tells him the difference. And maybe it's like, look, it's the legislature, the president, I think, gets frustrated because he wants something, and all he sees is that they're squabbling back and forth, Democrats and Republicans, Democrats and Democrats, Republicans and Republicans. He just wants to get something done. Stop the squabbling. Give me something.
Right.
And that's probably, because like I said, he's dealing with all these other things at the same time, and he wants to go out and talk about how he's trying to fix some things. And maybe he feels the best he can get. I don't think it is the best he can get. And so I voted yes on one, no on another. In particular, the House bill for housing had a ban for the federal government. I'm not big on bans, Gary, but when it comes to the government, I like to make sure the government is restrained. The House bill had a ban on the central bank digital currency. I don't want to see the federal government be able to digitize our money and then be able to track and control everything we spend our money on. So we passed that. The Senate bill had a go-live date for central bank digital currency, two completely opposite positions. So I voted yes on one, no on the other, for the reasons so stated. I thought the House bill was decent. The Senate bill was not great. It was terrible, as a matter of fact. But the president wants a housing bill. So on one case, I'm with him. On one case, I'm not. I don't know how the president feels about that particular bill.
Let me ask you this question, though. You just brought up something really interesting. I'm talking more philosophically today than probably we normally do. But so, there's this sense that if you go against the president, that automatically become public enemy number one, that you are a bad person, he'll call you names and so forth. You've obviously gone against him on a couple of things where you said, I had a difference of opinion. Has he reacted that way to you? Has he come back to you and said, you're a loser or whatever like that? Or has it been more, do we get a different kind of impression than what really maybe happens sometimes? Your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, and this president in particular, some people like it, some people hate it. He's very out in the open. He's very reactionary, and he's very blunt in his either praise or criticism. But I think it depends on magnitude, the volume of what you do, and the subtlety of the nuance, what you're doing it on. So you will draw his ire, I think, if you personally criticize him. There was a candidate that criticized his son. He was definitely the best candidate in the race, even though the guy in the past had criticized the president's son. I talked to the president about it. The president was so furious over the fact that this guy had criticized his son. And, to a certain point, the son is obviously not a policymaker. He's
right.
I'm talking about Barron, so let me be clear about that.
Right.
The son's not a policymaker. He's not even in the public eye, so to speak, and the president would not support that candidate, even when the candidate apologized for it, said, look, he's off base on that. The president still would not come around. However, on occasion, if you vote against the president's opinion or will on certain things, the president likely will tell you about it. He's got a great memory. I will tell you, it's uncanny, his memory, because I've talked to him about things I thought he would never pick up on. And he'll remind you about it. Now, I don't think it changes his opinion of you, but he wants to let you know that he's watching, and he will tell you about it.
Let me ask you this question. Have we gotten to a point where personality is too important right now with regard to this president? I know personalities are important with every president. They all have their own stamp that they put on things. But, you talked about Article 1, Article 2. We talk about the institutions versus the personality. Are we out of whack right now on that generally, in your opinion?
Yes, I think we are, but I would also say this, Gary, and maybe you don't realize this, we always have been, at least in my experience. I remember when I first went to the state legislature, I was seated, I was sitting next to a guy that I barely knew, and we would talk occasionally, and I'd say, I'm voting for this, and I remember him the first time he said, I'm not voting for this guy's a jerk.
Right.
And I said, well, it doesn't have anything to do with the guy. It has to do with the bill we're voting on, and it's a decent bill. And he just refused to because he must have had a run-in with the guy or just didn't like him personally or whatever. Right. And I think there's a whole lot. There's a guy I know currently from West Virginia, and he'll say, you have a Line 1 problem. Line 1 or not West Virginia, Virginia. Line 1 in Virginia apparently is the sponsor of the bill. So what he means by that is if it's going to have your name on it, people will vote no because they're they're anti-you. So that's always been present, but I think it is. I think it's really been increased under President Trump. I mean, and I would just cite this thing with, celebrating the 250th birthday of the United States of America, and he's got this big program put on with singers and so on and so forth. And now they refuse to do it because they don't want to be associated with the president. Can you just celebrate the birthday of the United States of America? Can we just do that?
Right.
Forget who the president is my answer.
Wouldn't it be nice? Yeah, to just do all that. Hey, when we come back, I just kind of want to go through a number of the things that are happening and get your thoughts. I hesitate to use the word machine gun. I don't know if that's politically correct anymore, but we'll do a rapid fire. Rapid fire isn't even much better than that, but the idea, we'll do a whole lot of stuff here in the next few minutes. So, Congressman, stand by. We'll be right back with you. Congressman Scott Perry with us here from the 10th Congressional District this morning. Here on the Gary Sutton Show, we'll hit some of the things that that are on the table right now for Congress, the president, and policy. Next on WOYK.
Fox Sports Update.
Happy Monday. It's the start of finals week. Good morning. I'm Jared Max. We are all set for the championship rounds. The Stanley Cup final gets underway tomorrow in Raleigh, North Carolina. The NBA finals begin Wednesday in San Antonio, Texas. The Carolina Hurricanes, who won 14 more games in the regular season than the Golden Knights, will host Vegas in Game 1 of the Cup final tomorrow night. The Canes are favored to win the Cup. The San Antonio Spurs, a strong favorite to beat the Knicks for the NBA championship in this rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals, which the Spurs won in 5 games. Earlier this season, these teams met in the final of the NBA Cup, the league's in-season tournament. That was back in mid-December. New York won by 11 points. Knicks coach Mike Brown did not make too much of that going into the finals versus San Antonio.
We played different guys during that Cup run. They played different guys during that Cup run. You could tell that they've matured as a group. You can tell we've matured as a group. So just going through that experience and having that type of pressure where it's the only game being played was something that you can always kind of carry over.
New York Knicks head coach Mike Brown, Game 1 of the NBA Finals Wednesday in San Antonio, where the cost of tickets to get into the game has plummeted since Saturday night after the Spurs eliminated the Thunder. This past Friday, at 12 noon Eastern, the cheapest seat for Game 1 of the Finals in San Antonio was $1,954 at secondary ticket reseller SeatGeek. Now, the cheapest seat is just over $1,000, which is more than $3,600 less than the cost for one ticket, the cheapest available this morning at Madison Square Garden for Game 3 when the Knicks will host their first NBA Finals game in 27 years. A couple of wild baseball scores Sunday. The Giants outslugged the Rockies 19-6. In the third inning in Sacramento, the Yankees sent 18 batters to the plate against the Athletics and scored 13 runs that inning. Yanks beat the Athletics 13-8. You can download the Fox Sports Podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you download your favorite podcasts. I'm Jared Max.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
18 batters to the plate and scored 13 runs, the Yankees. 18 batters. That means you went around twice through your lineup. You get worn out. Anyway, with that, we return to Congressman Scott Perry from the 10th Congressional District here. And I wanted to hit some items this morning. Obviously, Congressman Perry, the war in Iran, trying to get this peace treaty. The president's still kind of stewing over that. Not sure where he wants to go with that. What's your take on where we're at right now with that whole peace treaty? Obviously, we want to, find the uranium that's there, have some accounting for that, open the Strait of Hormuz, where are we at right now with that whole deal?
Just exceptionally difficult. The Iranians are untrustworthy. They never stand by any agreement they make. They're terrorists, but now, of course, they're completely disjointed. And what's my understanding, the leader essentially has asked permission to resign, the current so-called leader of the government, because he can't get anything accomplished, and he's working with two sides or multiple sides that hate each other. The president wants, obviously, the uranium out of there. He doesn't want the nuclear capability. But how's it going to be gotten? And also, obviously, the economic impact of this issue and this situation and how it's affecting the electorate, our prices here, worldwide prices, and the time component. As much as the president, I think I heard him say this recently, that he doesn't care about the midterms, that's a signal to the Iranians and the international community, but I think he does care about the midterms, and he also knows that, that it's important to get this right. But he also knows that there's a pipeline being built out there which is going to negate the Strait of Hormuz. And if that can happen in time to lower the cost and make it that it doesn't really matter how long it takes to get this deal right, then he's in a better political position. So there's a lot of moving pieces to this. And finally, I'm just going to say this because I have said it before. I think the president was given questionable intelligence about what would happen in Iran vis-a-vis the Iranian people and their capabilities there. I think that the general consensus was that the Iranian people would revolt once America took the action that it did, and there would be some other vestige of a government that we could work with. That obviously has not happened. But when the calculation to and look, I think the president was in a bad position. You had to make a decision one way or the other, the Iranians were going to have a nuclear capability and a ballistic capability to protect that nuclear capability within weeks or what have you, and the time to strike with secrecy was right in front of him, and it was going to go away at some point, and he had to make a decision. But now here we are, and this mess has to be cleaned up, and it has to be cleaned up rapidly because Americans have short attention spans and a low tolerance for things that we don't like, even though the long play is the one that absolutely has to happen. You cannot, if you don't like what Iran's doing now without nuclear weapons and without ballistic missile capability, imagine what they could extort us for with those capabilities.
Right. Yeah, no, good point. Obviously, prices here at home, gas prices way up.
Yep.
And people are saying, well,
but coming down.
And they're coming down. But
yep.
Where's the end of that? But, that's the thing. And people are saying, okay, what about inflation, too? We see the stock market going crazy. And yet at the same time, people are saying, well, it doesn't really equate. And yet at the same time also, people are not backing off spending necessarily. So we got all kinds of, you talk about all the different pie plates spinning right now. They're spinning like crazy here at home as well. We're in the summer season. People want to go on vacations. And yet at the same time, it's costing a lot more to do that. Your take from a congressional point of view on that?
Well, those things all have political ramifications. I think that, like I said, people have a short attention span. And while we don't like the gas prices, I think people do like their 401k prices. And even though we're taught to complain about the prices, and we should, because I don't like them either. I think I filled up my car and my wife's car the other day. It was like $150. It was over $150. None of us like that.
Right.
But at the same time, our vacations are scheduled, our trips are planned, our activities are on the books, and so we're finding a way to do those things. We're just going to complain mightily about it, and maybe we'd complain anyhow. That this gives us an easy, it's an easy target to explain away all the shortcomings that we have in our life, and the president's getting the blame for it, and so are the rest of us. It doesn't matter. If you're in that party, you get the blame for it, right? And my frustration is that the prices were actually higher without a war in Iran under President Biden. And even though we complained, the press acted like there was nothing to see there. So I'm glad you're pointing it out, but it should go both ways evenly. Yeah. It just doesn't seem to.
Yeah, we just like to, we try to be as even as we can on that whole thing. Other than those big ones right now, what's the number one thing on your list? Things that are important right now that are up before Congress?
Well, we've got to get this funding done for. You probably don't realize it or just don't think about it. Most people don't. But the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement and the border is still unfunded, and that's going to have ramifications long into the future that are undesirable for the Democrat Party for doing that, for splitting that thing out there. But we've got to get that done, and we talked about this a little earlier, but the ability to get anything done right now in Congress, remember, the president went against John Cornyn, but John Cornyn's going to be in the Senate for the next 5 months.
Right.
He went against, there are other people that he's going against both in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, but they're still going to be there for the next 5 months, and we've got slim majorities in both houses, and the American people still expect us to get things done. But what incentive does somebody like Cornyn now, who's going to be serving, what incentive does he have to do anything that anybody other than what John Cornyn wants to do?
Because they're lame ducks, and yet at the same time they carry a lot of power in the sense that, well, I'm not going to be here next time, so I can vote my conscience on everything I want to, or do whatever I want to do right now. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, some of them, this is their opportunity to get even, so to speak. And you'd like to think that adults and people that serve their country wouldn't do things like that. Unfortunately, we all fall short of the grace of God, and people will do things like that.
No, great point. Congressman, always good talking to you. Thank you for taking the time this morning. Appreciate it, and we'll look forward to our next time very, very soon.
Absolutely, Gary. You hit them well, and you be well. God bless you.
Have a great summer. Thank you, Congressman. Congressman Scott Perry with us here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. When we come back, Kevin Smith joins us to talk a little bit about kindness. Yeah, and what's going on in that end of the world. And then Andrew Harold at 7:52 this morning, A Point of Law. All straight ahead here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK on a Monday morning. It's June the 1st, and what better way to jump into the day than talk about a little bit of kindness, right? Come on, a little bit of kindness. And no better guy to talk to about that than Kevin Smith, Chief Kindness Chaser for kindnessworldwide.org, which he started. And good morning, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing great, Gary. Well, it's a beautiful weekend. It's a beautiful day. A lot of good to see today.
A lot of good to see. I'm looking out here. I love my favorite thing. I look out the window here and I see the sun coming up on the top of the city. And every morning when that happens, I just kind of get a little smile to my face and look across Brooks Robinson Plaza here and think how lucky we are. Brand new day starting. Lots of opportunities out there. And before anybody gets sick right now, and say, "No, you're doing."
It's a wonderful way to start the week.
It is.
For sure.
I mean, I really look at it that way. So, yeah, you heard the congressman here a moment ago. You were sitting here with us, and lots of stuff going on. Lots for people to digest. You were, and you've said many, many times, I was one of those guys that I got deluged with all this stuff, and the world's going to hell in a handcart. What is going on? And yet you took a different path 3 years ago to say, there's stuff I could do. Yeah, that stuff's there. We're aware of it. We have to be, but there's stuff I could do. And you and I were talking last week about some of the great kindness things that people did during the course of the week. But, I had something happen yesterday, I got to tell you. I'm over putting on a putting green at Grandview Golf Club last night, just for the heck of it. And I'm standing there. And it's funny how we get opportunities presented to us. And I happen to believe they come from God, but that's my particular belief. So I'm standing there. I see a guy coming down the other side of the road pushing a hand cart. He's obviously got an impediment with his walking. He's dragging his right foot, can barely lift it. He has to stop like every 2 steps. And then his right arm was kind of like withered, his left arm, and he's got like a gallon of water in there. He's got a bunch of things. He obviously was coming from Weiss Market, but he's pushing his handcart down the right side of Carlisle Road, of all places, which is one of the heaviest traveled thoroughfares here in York County. So I'm standing on the putting green there, looking at this guy, and he stopped and he started, and he stopped and he started going down the road. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So I was going to go out and play a couple holes, and I said, nope, can't do it. Ran up with the cart, put the cart away, put my clubs in the car, jumped in the car, drove out, turned left, went down the road, parked just ahead of him. He was down the road a little further. And I got out and said, hey, how you go about this? I said, I couldn't help but notice that you got quite a load there going down and you have a little tough time. I said, could I give you a hand driving you to wherever you need to go? And he said, I just live down here in the little trailer park. But he said, I really appreciate you stopping just to check on me. And I said, what's your name? And his name was Hugo. And he said, I said, could I ask what happened? And he said, I had a stroke. And he said, so I have a tough time with my leg and my arm. But he said, it was really kind of you to stop. I said, well, can I give you a ride over there? It's still like a few hundred yards. And he said, no. He said, I'll be fine. And he said, but thank you. And then he put a thumbs up. Now, it's funny sometimes. And you don't know when you go to help people. There are some people who say, I'm going to help you no matter what you want to do. But this guy said, no, I'm okay. But thank you for thinking about me. It was kind of one of those interesting things that crossed your path on the radar. So I thought I'd send that to the chief kindness chaser there to put in as another story there. Because I told my wife when I got home, I said, I tried to help this guy, but maybe the help was just that someone cared about him for the moment. Who knows?
Well, there's so many things about that story that resonate. Number one is I've said many, many times that there are no random acts of kindness. There are random opportunities for kindness. Yeah. And kindness is a choice. So there was a random opportunity. You saw this gentleman, and of course you're doing your thing on the putting green, and you could have chosen just to be on your way and just, and ignore it. But something in your conscience said, I need to do something. And you did. You went the extra mile and you lended a hand. And, he was very appreciative, and it was the gesture of kindness, I think, that really stands out, certainly to him. And, but also knowing that, you did something. I mean, we all have a conscience. And you alluded to this earlier about, I was at one point was caught up in a world where I was pointing the finger at a lot of people, feeling like there was nothing I could do about it, feeling powerless. Ironically, I now feel empowered just through a paradigm shift to realizing that I have a choice. And I can make decisions every day to choose kindness or not, and try to be the best version I can be of myself. But I also have a conscience. I mean, I've described this journey as win-win and also lose-lose, paradoxically, in that it's very meaningful to be part of something that can matter, that can make a difference. And that's the win-win part. The lose part is, people underestimate that, kindness is often hard, and it's a strength. It is not soft at all. And, this truly is a calling, and I could say many reasons why I know that it is. And to say yes to that calling, I knew would have a price and a cost to it. It's not been easy behind the scenes, and we've had many conversations behind the scenes. Yet I also have a conscience. And if there was an opportunity to go the extra mile, so to speak, to do something that maybe could matter, or at least feel like I've got control and I can do something maybe that can inspire others, maybe make a difference, at least to know that I tried. If I didn't try, if I didn't go that extra mile, then my conscience would weigh on me. And so, but the story you shared is a wonderful story, and it shows how we all can choose kindness. We have choices every day to do the little things or the big things. And at the end of the day, if we choose properly, nothing ever goes wrong. You can't fail being kind. And you made that person's day. They were very appreciative. They expressed their gratitude. That's certainly is the foundation of the 8 characteristics of kindness. And so I commend you for choosing kindness and really doing what you did. It's a great example that hopefully others can follow.
Now, I had another situation happen on Friday. You talk about opportunities being presented. I went to the store on Friday, same store you went to where you had
Wise Markets.
Yep, you got it. So I was over there and I was picking up a prescription. And I came out and a lady ran by me in a scooter, like a motorized scooter, and said something and then kept on going. And so I wasn't sure what she said, but I walked on down to my car. I had to walk down a ways. All of a sudden, here comes this lady in the scooter and pulls up and says, by the way, I didn't mean to scare you, but I was running back. And I said, okay. And, this lady looks like she might be down in her luck a little bit, but she had a motorized scooter. I don't know, how that all worked out. But she said, would you pray for me? Which I think automatically meant, would you give me some money? I wasn't naive. I'm sitting there going, okay. And she said, I'm homeless. And I said, well, where do you stay now? She said, well, between this place and this place. And she said, but I'm homeless. She was missing some teeth. She looked like she had been down on her luck. And so she said, would you pray for me? And I said, I will pray for you. And I gave her some money. I did. I said, I haven't had anything to eat for a while. And now, again, so the reason I ask you this, because I did spend some time. I said, give me your hand. And I said, her name was Brittany. And I said, Brittany, let's pray. And so we prayed over it. And I prayed, please, God, help Brittany to find a way to be independent, find a way to, support herself, find some things here for her. I gave her enough money to probably cover a place to stay that night and a place to get something to eat. Okay, that was my thought. And so then I walk away after I spent this time with her. I look at my wallet and there was money there that someone had given me for something else. I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to give this to her. Now, someone is sitting there right now hearing us and saying, oh, well, she probably used it for booze or she used it for drugs. She used it for something else. I don't know what she used it for. All I know is my intention was that she used it for good. And so if I got taken, I got taken. I told my wife about it. My wife said, well, she had a motorized scooter. She got that from somewhere. I said, I know. But I said, I still, there was a compassion there. So I'm sure people ask you all the time, Kevin, where is the fine line between kindness and maybe being taken? Or is there a fine line there? I don't know.
Well, I used to feel very similarly. There'd be many opportunities to potentially you encounter a homeless individual or a shelterless individual and can give them money. And often you can see the bad or assume the worst and say, well, if I give them money, they're probably going to do this. Well, that's not a reflection of them. It's a reflection of me and our attitude. And at least, again, conscience again. It's not up to me what they do with it. I can assume the best in them or I can assume the worst in them. But at least I know, hey, I'm offering them something and now they have a choice to make and hopefully they'll make the right one.
Right.
But now, it's not on me anymore. It's on them to pay it forward or use that money as they choose. But I also think that we overestimate the importance of money when we encounter a shelterless individual.
Right.
Often I would argue more important than money is to give them dignity.
Right.
To take the time to see them, to acknowledge them, to say hello to them, to ask them their name. Think about how many people encounter a homeless person on the street and you just walk by, head forward, never look down. Imagine yourself, you're that individual, down on your luck, whatever the circumstances are, and you feel like you're not noticed, you're not seen, you're just the blurry face in many respects. But just to simply say hello and acknowledge them, I would argue that is priceless, and that is worth far more to most in those situations than the money that we can give them.
Well, in both situations, I want to know names. You and I have gone out a lot, and I always ask someone their name because, to me, that is your first step in dignity. That you matter. You matter enough to me that I want to know who you are, and I hope I matter enough to you that you want to know who I am. And so I will give my name, and I'll give them their name and get their name. But I did that with her, and then I said, let's do what you asked me initially. Let's pray. Okay, so if you really wanted to pray, we're going to do it right now. And she put her, bowed her head, and we prayed together. And then I said, hey, I hope you have a great day. And she had tears in her eyes. But so if like I said, if I got taken, at least she said to herself somewhere, this person really cared enough about me to do something. That's what you hope. And you hope that it will network out and that at some point in time she's going to have a chance to do that for someone else. Mm-hmm. Final thoughts this morning.
Well, I know you're a person of faith, as am I. And, in our faith, we're called to be Christ-like. And you did just that. And to be where someone else is and to see the good in them. And we're all worthy of dignity and self-respect and to be called by name and whatnot. And look, when I think of kindness, regardless of one's faith, I mean, there's no denying that Jesus Christ existed. He walked this earth. He was a human being.
Right.
And if there was ever any exemplar of kindness, it was Jesus Christ. And this adage, what would Jesus do? It's not just a Christian saying. It's something we all can follow because truly, when we're Christ-like, we're leading with kindness. And there was no better exemplar of kindness than Jesus Christ.
Well, and I mentioned those two situations this morning only because they happen to happen in the space of a couple of days. And every now and then, they may go a long period of time sometimes. Mm-hmm. Or maybe sometimes we miss some of those opportunities because we're in a hurry or whatever we're doing. So maybe the point would be, and again, it's not what I did. It's not any of that kind of stuff here. It's more of what we have the opportunity to do as a populace for people. And again, not always worrying about, okay, what will they do with the opportunity we give them or with the help we give them, but more we want to be there to try to help somebody in a moment where they really are of some need.
Well, and I commend you for sharing these stories because you alluded to you're not sharing these stories because you're looking for attention or credit.
No.
But you share these stories because hopefully they're going to plant a seed. Having the conversation like this and your listeners, maybe it plants a seed that maybe in a similar situation, they can follow that lead and they can be inspired to follow your example. And that's why I always say we need to tell these stories more often, not because we're boasting, not because we're for pride, but because we need to say, hey, these stories are happening and inspire others to hopefully follow our lead.
And when they hear that, maybe they've seen the similar kind of thing today. Maybe they see a guy walking along the road that's having a tough time. Maybe they see somebody, and I know there are people that prey on people and so forth. I get all that. But by the same token, we also have a sense sometimes of when someone really is in need, and that's really important. Kevin, always good talking to you. I know it's an abbreviated one this morning because of our first day of the month, but really appreciate you being in it and looking forward to seeing you on Friday.
Likewise. It's always a pleasure to begin my week here in studio with Gary and Mark, and just have a wonderful week, Gary. We'll see you on Friday, and we'll have a lot more kindness on a Good Friday.
KindnessWorldwide.org is where people need to go, and if you want to see the film for such a time as this, go in there, get Kevin's email address, email him. He will come out to your local group, your church group, community group, whatever, and play that wonderful film for you and have a conversation with you about it. Kevin Smith, KindnessWorldwide.org. When we come back, Andrew Harold joins us for A Point of Law right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Dan Stein and Sparler, attorneys at law, are one of our two great premier sponsors here on this show. They're at 117 East Market Street in York, and they've been around since 1937. And one of the great lawyers there is Andrew Harold, who joins us here this morning on the Gary Sutton Show to talk a little bit about a point of law. He always gets inside the law for us. And good morning, Andy. How you doing?
I'm great, Gary. How are you doing?
Doing well. Good to have you aboard this morning. Of course, right there, 117 East Market Street. People can give you a call at 717-846-8811. Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5. But you're thinking about the law all the time. And what do you have for us this morning?
Not all the time, Gary. I try to turn it off.
every now and then, right?
Yeah, you have to. You really do. I've been talking to you the last couple of weeks, Gary, about estate planning.
Yes.
I wanted to pivot a little bit into the estate administration process.
Okay.
Now, the estate administration process is typically about a 9-month to a year process. So obviously, I'm not going to, fit 9 months into 9 minutes. But what I really kind of wanted to focus on today was the role of the executor, what the executor does, and maybe some of the attributes that you should be thinking about in selecting an executor, going back to the estate planning aspect for just a minute. So really the executor is that person that you want to handle all of your affairs after you pass away. So, think about all of the legal, all of the financial things that you may have going on during your life. Well, those don't stop the day that you die. They continue on. And so it's the executor who really steps into that role of handling all of those things, all of your business affairs, all of any legal affairs, financial affairs.
Right.
And so that executor is the person who's going to be responsible to gather together your assets after you pass away, to protect those assets. Make sure that the home, if you own a home, make sure that home is being maintained, keeping insurance on the home, all of those things. The executor is also going to, and let me be clear, executors typically work with an attorney, and that's in large part what I do. I work with executors. I help them through this process. And many times it's a loved one. The loved one is grieving, and so really it's important to, in my opinion, to get that lawyer involved so that the lawyer can help you.
Yeah.
But the executor is going to be responsible to pay the debts. If the credit card bill comes in, and who's going to pay that? The executor is the person that's going to be responsible for that. There are taxes. Last week, unfortunately, we talked about the inheritance tax of Pennsylvania. That has to be paid within 9 months, and that's going to be the executor's duty. Of course, again, working in conjunction with the lawyer to figure out what that is. And really, after all of those things are done, and only after all of those things are done, after the legal debts have been paid, can the executor then make those distributions out to the people named in the will. And so, when you think about all of those responsibilities, what type of person do you want to be your executor? I can't tell you how many times clients come in and I say, maybe they have 3-4 children. Who's going to be the executor? Well, Johnny's going to be the executor. Why Johnny? Well, he's the oldest. Maybe Johnny isn't the most responsible with money. Maybe the second or third born is actually an accountant, and maybe we want to talk about having that person as the executor. So, you just really want to make sure that when you're selecting that executor, you are trusting that executor to handle all of your affairs and make sure that your last will is accomplished. And so it's really important to think about who you want to step into that role.
I had that role for my mother when she passed, and I'll tell you what, I would never want to do it again, but I had to do it, and it was a learning experience, and I did work with an attorney during that time, but, by the same token, I found myself saying sometimes, well, I wouldn't have done it this way, but it doesn't matter what you do. You're carrying out the will of somebody else, and that's something to kind of insert in there, too, that, when you are picking a person to do that, you better pick a person that says, okay, my job is to do exactly what they ask to do within the boundaries of what you can do monetarily.
That's exactly right. And 90% of the time, 99% of the time, I would really say, the executor takes their job seriously, and they are honest, and they do what they are supposed to do. I would be lying if I said I never run into the situation where executors are kind of going out of bounds a little bit. And there are processes to bring them back in bounds. That's what the Orphans Court exists for here in York County. And unfortunately, sometimes we do end up in disputes We have beneficiaries who aren't seeing eye to eye with the executor. But the thing that I would point out is that unless the executor is really going, in fact, out of bounds, the executor in Pennsylvania is given a lot of leeway. And so most of the time, the court isn't going to step in and insert its judgment in favor of the executor unless that executor is, again, doing something illegal, doing something truly immoral, things like that. So the executor does have a lot of flexibility, but they do have to do what the wishes of the decedent are.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing that you're going through. And you may find, and again, you mentioned something in the beginning there, the emotions that you go through during the time that this is happening certainly weigh on you a little bit. Final thought this morning on this, Andy.
Look, I tell everybody, Gary, what I do isn't rocket science, but the role of the executor is something that most people do only once, in their life, and many people never do it. It's not overly difficult, but if you haven't done the repetitions, you don't know what to expect, and that's what we're here to help you with.
Well, great point. 717-846-8811, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5. Ann Stein and Sparler, attorneys at law, proud sponsors of this show here on WOYK. Andy, I look forward every week to learning something new. You always teach me something different. I appreciate this week as well. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Take care, Gary. Have a great week.
Have a great week. Take care. Andy Harold of Ann Stein and Sparler, attorneys at law. When we come back, Major Joe Decree joins us here on the Gary Sutton Show to talk about where we are going right now with the truce in Iran. Is there an end in sight for that war? We're going to ask Joe what he sees in all of that. And then Mark Henderson joins us later on in the hour. And also Carmine Pantano. All next hour on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, where it is 8 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good. I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
You talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here, live from Brooks Robinson Plaza, sun-drenched Brooks Robinson Plaza today at Wellspan Park, right here in the heart of downtown York. This hour being brought to you by Frank's Marble and Granite. They've been a family-owned and operated business here in York County since 1972, founded by Frank Pantano, an Italian-born stonemaker. The business is now run by his son, Carmine, who you'll be hearing from later on in the hour, who's also the head of the Buy Local York Coalition. He carrying on the old world passion for stone. So one of the things they do, every piece is fabricated using machinery made right here in the United States. No subcontractors from the first measurement to the final polish. Frank's team handles everything in-house. You know exactly who's coming into your home. They're master fabricators. The average team member at Frank's has been with the company for over 20 years. And the team stays there. That means the quality stays the same, and you get the same master-level precision on every single job. And they've got a great selection there in Red Lion at their indoor slab gallery. 600 slabs in stock, including granite, marble, quartz, quartzite, and soapstone. And personalized attention. They operate by appointment only to ensure that you get one-on-one expert advice without feeling rushed or crowded. That's exactly right. And they also have the remnant secret. You know what that is? Looking for a smaller project like a vanity or a bar top? Ask about their remnant yard for high-end stone at a great price. Now, you can visit the web at franksgranite.com. That's franksgranite.com. Or call to schedule that one-on-one appointment at 717-244-2685. That's 717-244-2685. And they're located right there at 125 Householder Avenue in Red Lion. Frank's Marble and Granite, the proud sponsors of this hour of the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. So glad you could join us this morning here. And don't forget, you can also text us on our back 9 text line at 833-478-4729. The back 9 text line / York-PA is where you can go right now to get indoor memberships for the whole year or the summer memberships that are available. Check out the tournaments that can be played. It's just a great place right out there at South York Plaza next to Giant. With all that having been said, we turn now to Major Joe Decree, retired now, who's with us this morning for a look at the world through the eyes of a veteran. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. What's up?
Well, not too much. Just it's a Monday, and, we're getting ready for a brand new week. Obviously, looking at the world. How are you looking at the world right now through the eyes of a veteran? I mean, you look at it through the eyes of a guy that's been in Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq. You look at it through the guy who's been in Quantico and some intelligence. You look at it as a guy who's a pastor of a church you started for veterans. How are you looking at the world these days? What's kind of jumping out at you?
I think the world events seem to be fairly in stasis again, which is interesting. The Iran thing seems to be a steady state of annoyance, which, interesting. Iran has always been a steady state of annoyance for us. Ukraine, again, seems to be a stalemate. But I think people are scared. It's kind of interesting. People are scared.
When you look at Iran, if you again, giving your best guess, and you've been a guy who served the country, you've been in situations where you've dealt with sensitive material and so forth. How does Iran end, if it ends at all? As far as we're concerned,
I think it's one of those ends for the moment things. Until next time, kind of thing.
Okay.
I think the path open to the sequel will be obvious. What I believe the president is holding out for is one, open the Straits of Hormuz, and two,
right,
some assurances of non-nuclear proliferation. And I have.
How much do you bank on that?
The Iranians haven't just said, "Hey, yeah, sure, we'll do all that," and then go back to doing whatever what they're doing. Like
right.
The answer for them is so simple, and yet I don't like. Why aren't they doing it? So they either feel they have cards to play, which I don't really see, except the Strait of Hormuz, or they're holding out for something different, because the last time they sat down with the president at the bargaining table, they got billions of dollars of cash,
right.
Literally, we gave them truckloads of dollars, which was wow, just to me one of the dumbest things we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that honestly, I think both sides are probably looking for what can we just say to end this thing and get on with business.
Are we on a fool's errand right now, from your vantage point? In other words, are we asking for something we probably are not going to get, or is the president? And again, we don't know what the president knows. We don't know what the information is that they're being given. But just looking at the outside as citizens, from what we know, are we on a fool's errand or not?
No, okay. I don't think so. Because this, I really, I respect this president for doing what I think needed to be done. How many administrations in my lifetime have had the Iranian situation has been a situation for us since 1978.
Right.
The CIA missed the uprising, and Iran can have the government that they want, but that's not how this government took over. They have been a thorn in everybody's side, especially us in Israel, for that entire time.
Right.
So we're going on, 40-something years,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Almost. So most of my life, the Iran thing's been a problem. And I think this president finally said, enough. And I say good on him for that. Again, mixed feelings about how I think all this went down, but I only know what I read in the papers.
Right.
So...
47 years since they got started with the whole thing in Tehran and taking hostages.
Right. Ayatollah Khomeini left
right.
Paris and came back and overthrew, and they went from a pretty chill and wealthy and for the region, wealthy and pretty democratic state. Well, it wasn't democratic.
Yeah, not really,
but they had. They were proud of the rights they had given their citizens compared to their neighbors. I guess is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of lady doctors and scientists that are Iranian. There used to be a lot more. And now, we have this uber oppressive, religious regime that's really a pain in everybody's side. And again, I keep saying this because I think people forget, their two-stated foreign policy platforms are destroy Israel, then destroy the United States.
Yeah.
And and we keep accommodating them.
And not exactly Chamber of Commerce thoughts there, in terms of where you want to go.
That's what they say. Israel has no right to exist. We need to get off the map. And they funded Hezbollah and Hamas and
U.S. is a great
proxy terrorist.
Yeah.
A lot of proxy terrorist organizations and operations. So I have no love lost for the Iranians. But I think both parties are probably looking for a way that they can just say, all right, stop this and move on to the next thing.
You mentioned Ukraine, Ukraine and Russia, and obviously that's still a stickling point here a few years after they got started on that. Where's that all going right now from your vantage point?
I don't really know. I haven't looked at that one in a while. I will tell you, I think the Ukrainian drone operators are showing us what the art of the possible is for this kind of thing. And I think that's pretty interesting. So this is war on another level from what I've seen. I've never done this kind of thing. And suddenly the cool guys in uniform are the ones sitting in the in the windowless
playing video
room
games
with a joystick playing video games. Yeah, but I've looked at some stuff about how how some of these drone attacks against either air defense or command communications sites, and these are strikes against mobile sites. So these are pretty sophisticated attacks, and it's actually pretty impressive. That war hasn't spread wider yet, which is interesting. We're going on, what is this, 4 years now?
Yeah, we are.
I mean,
hard to believe.
It's becoming the perpetual warfare thing. And, the Russians, the Russians haven't overwhelmed them yet. Now I'm sure they're still getting a lot of munitions from the UK and the US, and that's probably, I doubt that Ukraine would exist without those things. However, they're really doing a good job with them. That's been kind of impressive. It's the war is relatively stalemated. This side gets a few miles, and the other side gets a few miles back. Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to be making any inroads strongly one side or the other at this particular point, which I think defines exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I don't know why Russia hasn't either just, rolled everything in there and overwhelmed the Ukrainians. That they seem to not be doing that. Nor has NATO really thrown in with the Ukraine to just push Russia out. This is really interesting because, this was the one everybody's like, well, there's going to be World War III. Of course, every time something happens now, it's going to be World War III. Right. So it's the new boogeyman, COVID, pick whatever thing, right? It's the new one.
Final one. Final one.
Interesting to me.
Yeah. Final one I wanted to ask you about this one is China. President just got back from having a meeting with Xi Jinping, and where's China right now in all this whole thing in the world stage?
I don't know. My suspicions are that China is not as she appears. I think
interesting.
I think people kind of lean back into their history more times than they don't. Now, ours is a little bit different because our history is so short compared to everybody else. But I think we'll probably do that, and that's, a bunch of guys just get together and decide something needs to be done. China, on the other hand, I think always devolves. They go from dynasty back to the four empires, right? Back to the four kingdoms. Right. And I really think, I see the Chinese Communist Party as another dynasty, and I think they'll go back into the four kingdoms. I think they're at a point, it's kind of into the, we keep saying, China's the economic juggernaut. I don't, they're smart. They're smart about things, but I think they've got some significant limitations. They keep exporting people. They're building military bases all over Africa, which, I don't think is going to go particularly well for them. It has never gone well for anybody else in Africa.
Right.
To think the Chinese are going to crack the code is interesting. They've not yet taken Taiwan. They've not yet made overtures to Taiwan, and I would have thought they would have done that during the Biden administration. I really thought they were, that Taiwan was gone.
But they still don't pull the trigger on that, and that is, I guess, that speaks well of the United States that we're still the shadow that hangs over that for them.
Does it speak well of the United States, or does it speak well of the Chinese, or speak ill of the Chinese capabilities?
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where that
I don't know where that bouncing ball is. Yeah,
right,
absolutely. Hey, good talk.
They're dying for oil, and this whole thing is probably it's really crushing. This whole thing in Iran is really hurting their economy.
Gotcha, Joe. Always good talk.
Probably more than anybody else.
Always good talking to you on Monday morning, my friend. I wish we could do 5 hours together because you have such good, diverse opinions on things. I'm always interested in picking your brain. But have a great week. I'm looking forward to talking to you again next Monday morning. And thank you again for your service to our country. Appreciate it, man. Take care.
Talk to you.
My friend Major Joe Decree, live from Montana this morning, right here on the Gary Sutton Show. When we come back, Carmine Pantano is the head of Frank's Marble and Granite, but he's also the head of the Buy Local York Coalition. We're going to talk about the business atmosphere out there at the moment with all the various prices and everything and how that's affecting business here in the York area. Next on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
The cable news network, the news channel, will serve to inform the people of this country and beyond. CNN will be a living history on a 24-hour-a-day basis, 365 days a year. The CNN product, as it grows and improves from its birth to its adolescence to its adult life, will, for the first time in history, provide the world with an electronic record of each day's events.
It was 46 years ago today on this date in 1980. CNN began broadcasting as the first cable news network.
Boy, did that change the way we looked at news, didn't it? 24/7 news, and CNN was the baby. Ted Turner got that all started.
The most interesting part of that particular tape was they went behind the scenes, and apparently the satellite guy was the most important guy initially.
Yeah.
Because he had apparent access to, I think he said 80 or 90 satellites. So he had 20 responders that were locked into rotating satellites, and he was checking stuff that was flowing in all the time. So this is the guy that, hey, I've got video of this, I got video of that, and that's how they put it all together.
He's probably in a home now somewhere.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, there it is. Anyway, so welcome back to Gary Sutton Show, brought to you this morning by Anstein and Sparler Attorneys at Law, and also kindnessworldwide.org, our presenting sponsors. But this hour being brought to you by Frank's Marble and Granite, right there in Red Lion, and the head of Frank's Marble and Granite now, it's started by his dad, Frank, is Carmine Pantano, who joins us here on the Gary Sutton Show. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Well, we're doing really well. I wanted to ask you, because you're also the head of Buy Local York, and people can find that at buylocalcoalition.com. What the atmosphere is right now for business. You're talking about over 250 businesses here that are involved in that organization. What's the local business climate right now here in the York area from your vantage point, Carmine?
From what I'm seeing, it's not perfect. It's definitely right now. Everybody, it's tough. Everybody's working hard. Everybody's working a little bit harder to get through each day. Unfortunately, with just the way things are right now, that's not the worst I've seen. I've seen way worse, but it is definitely, it's a little tougher these days. Probably a little bit better in this area versus other areas of the country. But from what I'm seeing, people are just working a little harder to get through the day.
Is it a wait and see kind of attitude, or is it something more than that?
It depends. I've been talking to a couple of different people. I've unfortunately, some bad news I received over the weekend was and I won't say who it is, but a local business decided he's going to close. He said, wow. I just can't do it anymore because it's just the expenses are too much, and I can go get a 9-to-5 job and make more money.
You
happen.
Operate a local business. How, and maybe that opens up another avenue here. Questions I wanted to ask you. Frank's Marble and Granite. Obviously, your dad started that, so you have you talk about having a feeling. I'm carrying on a family business. I'm carrying on tradition that my dad started. But how hard is it to operate a local business from your vantage point? I mean, I know you and your mother pretty much are in control of Frank's Marble and Granite. But from the standpoint of being a small business owner, how hard is it to operate a local business?
It is very hard. You have to have your whole heart in it, and you don't sleep much. You're up 5 a.m. to midnight, always working, and that's okay because the satisfaction you get at the end is worth all of that. So it's hard. It's hard work owning a business, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
You talk in the buylocalcoalition.com about spend it here, keep it here. So many people now, we've got all these different, huge companies and so forth that are swallowing up some of the smaller companies. And yet we revel here in York a lot in the small business world. We do have our share of big companies around, but we also revel in the small businesses. Are small, is that unique from what you can tell? Or as you look around the country, are there a lot of other places that are like the York, Pennsylvania kind of business climate?
I would say York is in a nice little area. I mean, obviously there are other areas. Everybody has small businesses all over the place. However, York, we're in a nice little niche area, I feel, on the northeast coast here, on the northeast, where we're close to the big cities. So what's nice is we can not only sell small businesses and only doing business just in York County, they might be able to sell their product in the Baltimore area, Philadelphia area, New York area, Pittsburgh. So we're kind of in a nice little area where people, depending on their product, can actually move their product beyond York. So I feel we have a nice little niche area that our area has a little bit more makers of stuff like foods and crafts and stuff like that than maybe other areas.
That's interesting. Now, you bill yourself at Frank's Marble and Granite. You're not a big box store. You're your neighbors. And you've been beautifying York County homes for over 50 years. Talk about what it is that you do and what you're available for people here in York County. And I know one of the great things you talk about as well is that there are no subcontractors. You've got a team that's averaged like 20 years with you, and every piece is fabricated using machinery made right here in the United States, right?
That's right. Yep, we do countertops for your home, and whether it's your bathroom, your kitchen, your laundry room, a basement bar, your outdoor grill area, we can do the countertops for you. And like you said, we have our team members have been with us since almost 2001, and it's the same guys since then. They know what they're doing. We have a great team.
You also have a situation where you can look for a smaller project, and you have the remnant secret, which I love that word, the remnant secret. Tell people about the remnant secret that you might have right there at the store.
Yeah, so a lot of people are just looking for a small do-it-yourself project where they just want to install a small powder room vanity top or something. We have lots of little pieces out in our remnant yard where you can pick from a small piece. We'll cut it to size. You come pick it up and install it yourself, and it's real easy.
And I'll tell you what, I took the tour with Carmine the one day. It is a fabulous place to go through and see all these different things. Now, you mentioned, we always talk about trending stories every day. What's the trending kind of material that people are using right now for the various kind of countertops?
Right now, it's been trending for about a year or two now, and it's still trending, is quartz. Quartz is the hot countertop item right now.
Now, why is that? Have people said why they like quartz so much?
Yeah, the technology has been changing almost on a monthly basis where it looks like marble. And every few months, we receive new color options that look more and more like real marble. Where marble is very hard to maintain, quartz is much simpler.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I'm learning something new all the time, Carmine. You can call Carmine, the good people over there right now at Frank's Marble and Granite, to get that one-on-one appointment. That's the way they do business. 717-244-2685. They're located at 125 Householder Avenue right here in Red Lion. They are your neighbors. They are people that you'll see. And if you don't see Carmine, you're not trying hard enough. He's around all over the place with the Buy Local York Coalition as well. Carmine, always good talking to you on a Monday morning, my friend. Really appreciate what you're doing out there, pushing local business as well as Frank's Marble and Granite.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. And you have a great week, okay? We'll look forward to talking to you again next Monday morning, all right?
See you next week.
Thank you. Carmine Pantano here. And don't forget to check out Frank's Marble and Granite. They are ready to help you today. franksgranite.com or give a call to 717-244-2685. When we come back, we're checking in with Mark Hendrickson on some of the things that happened in sports and culture over the weekend. We'll do all that right after this. It's 8:30. happen to love this song.
What? It's not on the list?
No, it's not.
Oh, my goodness.
Is this Venus?
It is. It's Bananarama's version, though.
Yeah, but I liked it. It's just that hard driving bass. And you can always, I'm a sucker. You can always get me with the hard driving bass.
And the pretty ladies didn't have anything to do with it?
No, that had nothing. It wasn't. It was never the video for me.
Okay.
It was the audio. Yeah. But it's just something about the hard driving bass. That was what it was.
So we're still working on 1986 bumper music.
I like it. I mean, I like that 86 version.
Let me just ask you a quick question. I'm considering, because we cut off like most of the 70s.
Right.
I was considering doing like a throwback Friday, like just on Fridays.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, I don't have.
You think that
I don't have any problem with that. No.
Just to kind of change it up.
If you need my approval, there it is.
I just thought I wanted to know
my thought process.
Yeah,
whatever.
Your input.
My input. Yes.
As opposed to, I didn't ask. Can I see the list?
Right. No, I don't mess around with that stuff too much.
Okay.
I stay away from it, and I let you kind of but I will voice if you ask me. I will let you know if something sucked or if it didn't.
You're right.
It's just
you mean no changings?
No, thank you. And with that, we turn to Mark Hendrickson this morning, former Major League pitcher, former NBA basketball player. And he's with us here on WOYK. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Well, it's great to have you in this morning. Man, we have the confluence of everything going on right now. We got the hockey playoffs coming up. We got the NBA final series starting like Wednesday. We've got, baseball in full regalia right now. We had a great golf story yesterday, almost an even better story yesterday. So let me start with basketball, first of all. This series coming up is kind of like a little new age for me, with San Antonio and Victor Wembanyama, the 7'4" do everything guy, and then you got the Villanova Knicks, the three guys from Villanova there. Really smart team. Reminds me kind of the old Boston Celtics a little bit, playing as a team. Hooking up on Wednesday. Do you have any thoughts on this NBA final setup?
I think it's kind of a dream scenario for the NBA as far as a marketing standpoint. You got New York that has been starving for their team to get back into the championship discussion. And obviously San Antonio is the new age and came off of a great series. In fact, I watched Game 7. It was very exciting. And, I'd love to see Oklahoma City and San Antonio kind of like the Lakers and Celtics.
Right.
Where they can meet in the final. But, that's not the case. And it was still a good series. And looking forward to a good final.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, Victor Wembanyama is a guy that everybody's talking about, 7'4". I mean, this guy is like gazelle. And then you've got these guys like Brunson that plays for New York, and Hart and all those different kind of players that have really made New York into this really neat team. But I was looking at the ticket prices today. They dropped for San Antonio from $1,972 to down around $1,000 now for the cheapest ticket, and yet at Madison Square Garden they're still around $3,600 to get the cheapest ticket to the game. So it's crazy how these prices are what they are, but that's what the market is calling for right now.
Well, just try to picture what celebrity's going to be at Madison Square Garden. I mean, they're going to all come out in droves like they're diehard Knicks fans, which some of them are, but a lot of times they'll just be like they want to be seen.
That's it.
But it should be a great atmosphere. Should be fun. Anxious to see how it plays out.
I watched a situation yesterday almost unfold on the Colonial Country Club down in Texas, where they had the latest tournament. And this kid, Eric Cole, and I say kid, he's 37 years old. Eric Cole, who is the son, by the way, of Bobby Cole, who was a professional golfer, who won the Buick Open on the 1977 PGA Tour, and Laura Ball, who was also an LPGA player. He's the son of those two. He used to play golf with Arnold Palmer and Palmer's grandson, Sam Saunders. Here's a guy that went on he got his card, or actually came on to professional golf in 2009, but didn't get his card until 2023, and he was leading up until the last hole yesterday. and the guy caught him in 3 straight birdies and beat him in a playoff. And I was watching this yesterday. This was like a dream come true. 37-year-old guy looking to win for the first time on the PGA Tour, but did not happen. And yet at the same time, the story itself of kind of persevering over those 17 years of finally getting his card was kind of a neat story. Any take on that?
I think you see it all the time in sports. You know, a lot of times we gravitate towards the Hall of Famers, the GOATs, but then every once in a while you get the story of resiliency in any sport that just shows you all the work that doesn't necessarily get the attention. I think there was one highlight I saw one time when a baseball player had played 13 years in the minor leagues and got his big league first hit. It's like, can you imagine? Those stories are what it's about just as much as it is all the Hall of Famers, because there's so many more guys and gals that are just waiting for that opportunity. And, it's not seen by the public, but yet they just work just as hard.
I guess, Mark, every situation is unique. But when do you know when it's time to quit? This guy obviously wanted to keep on going. That's all he's ever known was golf. I mean, his 2 parents were the only coaches he's ever had. So he was out there still persevering. He played on a number of minor tours. But, he didn't get his Korn Ferry card, which is the minor leagues for the PGA, until 2017. So, I mean, here's a guy that kept on persevering, and finally here he is, the chance to win yesterday. And if not for, one guy birdieing out the last 4 holes, he wins.
Yeah, it's a tough call for every athlete.
Yeah.
And I think for guys like that are grinding, sometimes it becomes financial because they're giving up so much of what you would call regular life to pursue a dream. And at some point, some of these guys have to make decisions. For me, it was different. I can just speak for myself. I'm sitting there at 40 years old realizing I can't get this hitter out. So that, to me, was time like, okay.
Right.
I can't compete at the highest level anymore. I did what I needed to do. In fact, that's why I played at York for the 1 year that I did, because I was working on some mechanical things with the, vision of getting back and seeing how it competed against major league hitters. Well, I found out real quick it wasn't as good as I thought it was.
Right. And so, you just came to a realization, okay, my skills, I told my wife the other day, I said, I wish my competitive desire would degrade with my skills equally. But it doesn't work like that. You still have a competitive desire, and your skills are degrading, and you think you can still hit it 280 or 290, and you're hitting it like 230, 240, and you go, okay, so now what do I do with that? And maybe that's the next question I have for you this morning. Where do you go with that competitive desire then, when it no longer is in the area that you kind of always were used to, and yet you still have the need to kind of compete?
Well, I think you're talking about the challenge of any kind of exercise. Obviously people who love sports and love being active got to find a competitive outlet. And I think for all of us, at some point when we play sports, we're done playing. And if we can't find a competitive game in the sport that we love, we have to channel into some kind of other exercise, whether it's, swimming, biking, running. Golf is a good sport that you can get very competitive with later in years. And so that's just finding those outlets and staying motivated, because we all have it. If we played as an athlete or even coached, you have that competitive spirit that you want to tap into.
I know I find myself still playing for the championship tees a lot of times. Although when I get to certain courses, I say, well, I can't reach the par 4s at 2 there, so I've got to play from the up tees. It's hard, I think, as we get older to say, okay, I know where I used to be. Like in your case, I mean, you were a Major League Baseball player. You were a NBA basketball player. So you say, I know where I used to be, but how hard is it now coming to grips with, but now I know where I am at this particular point in life? I mean, sometimes it's hard to grab onto that.
Well, I think the thing I've learned, too, is if I get into a pickup basketball game, I know how to still get something out of it.
Okay.
Without feeling like I have to dominate. Sometimes as we get older, the competitive juices leave us vulnerable to injury. Because the mind can't say, whoa, the body's not as young as it used to be. But, for me, I think some of that experience is I can jump into a game like that, still accomplish something in the game without feeling like I have to prove my worth. And ultimately, it's just getting out of it without getting hurt too.
Well, I think that's a great point. That you a man's got to know his limitations, as Clint Eastwood said so well in the one, or a man's got to know his limitations. Yeah, in the one Dirty Harry film. But it's so true. I mean, we do have to know our limitations. We do have to know what we can do, what we can't do at this particular point, and not try to overdo it. And there you go. So where have you taken your competitive spirit that you had when you were a baseball player, when you were a NBA basketball player? Where do you take that now?
Well, we're still waiting for that golf match, so you can find out where some of it is.
All right. What do you got going this week?
I told you I need a little lead time. I got to practice.
All right. Well, I
got to at least have a week notice for practice.
Here's what I'm going to ask you. You send me. You have my text. Send me some dates, and we will set up a match. And you and I will go out, and then we will both come back on here and brag about what probably didn't happen. So,
Okay.
But yeah, we will do that because I'm anxious to see your game. I mean,
Well, let me check my schedule with Daryl because I'm doing a lot of color commentary for the Reds. I know that you were trying to get a few games in, but
yeah,
I think he wants to bring back the people that draw in the audience. So I might.
And that's you. I mean, hey, listen, I make no bones about it. I told Daryl, when you need me, I'll come in. But if you get Mark all the time, I loved listening to you. I mean, I really did. I sat, when you were on the first night, I listened to you. I was mesmerized. I really was. I'm not blowing smoke at you. I really liked how you got inside the game. I thought that was really cool. So there you go.
You mentioned competitive outlet. Hopefully I'm not letting your audience know that my daughter's learning to ride a bike this morning, so I'm actually riding and talking to you.
Is that right?
Which you can say, hey, that's not that difficult, but when the 6'9" kid is on a kid's bike, it's quite adventurous.
Yeah, are there like 3 wheels in the back?
I haven't crashed yet, so that's good.
Okay, all right. Well, now send me some dates because I'm anxious to get this done because I'm not going to. I feel guilty right now that we haven't set this up. So you send me the dates. We'll get it done. Find out when you're doing games with Daryl. Obviously, that's secondary to our golf, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Sounds good.
I appreciate it, buddy. Have a great week. All right. Thanks, Mark. Take care, Mark. Mark Hendrickson here on the Gary Sutton Show. I look forward to that match, Mark. I'm talking to Mark McKenzie now. I look forward to that match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and then we'll trash talk here on the show and do all those things that we do.
And I'll buy him whatever. If you go out to eat afterwards, my treat.
Yeah, you still have not paid up on that, have you?
I'm hoping to do it then.
Someday.
Yes, I mean our paths don't cross at all.
Well,
except
no,
for here,
but
so.
we'll do that, and maybe we get Mark out for that match also.
Oh God, I don't know. Is that a good idea?
I don't know. Anyway, by the way, where you can get out this afternoon is at 4 p.m. the Thomasville Country Auction. It doesn't take any competitive desire on that one, other than maybe a competition in bidding. But they have one of 5 sales from a loaded house of collectibles. And when I say loaded house of collectibles, marble top stands, Crocs, puzzles, board games, collector plates, NASCAR cars, car case collectibles. They got Tiffany-style lamps. They got mahogany flip-flop table. They got dolls, doll baby furniture, dry sink, market cart, milk can, Hall's bowls, miniature iron stove, and it goes on and on and on. Now, rather than have me butcher up all these, go to ThomasvilleCountryAuction.com right now. Hit auction dates. Today is the June 1st, 2026, and you will see every item for bid this afternoon. Now, now's a great time to have a sale. I mean, it's getting to be warm. It's nice outside, and Jack and Cheryl Hooks have that little air-conditioned place inside to have sales. But if you have items to get rid of, you're moving, you're downsizing, maybe you have an estate to settle, like I did. An estate sale would be a great thing. Jack and Cheryl Hooks are the ones who do the best job at this, in my opinion, here in York County. They've been doing it for over 40 years, and they know the ropes. Give them a call today at 717-764-5403 to come out to your home, to talk about the sale, to take a look at the items, to talk about what to expect, what not to expect, all the various questions you have, what are some of the myths that you've heard about with sales, and even how do you haul the items from your house to their auction house? They can help you with that as well. And then, do I get one sale? Do I have 2, 4, 5 sales? This one has 5 sales you're going to go to this afternoon, and Jack and Cheryl Hooks can help guide you in those directions. They're masters at that. And if you're selling your real estate, Cheryl could do that for you and save you lots of money. So what are you waiting for? Give Jack and Cheryl Hooks a call today at 717-764-5403. Tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you to Thomasville Country Auction. They have a sale today at 4. Route 30 West at the railroad tracks in Thomasville. All right, we got the bass. I'm trying to say, do I know this song?
It's Mad About You.
Yeah, I don't like this one.
Belinda Carlisle. Used to be with the Go-Go's.
Yeah, not a big fan. But not terrible, but, just...
It's not on
it's
the
one of
list.
those voices that's kind of like, take it or leave it. It's milk toasty. By the way, this hour has been brought to you by Frank's Marble and Granite, family owned and operated in York County since 1972. When it comes to doing that countertop in the bathroom or the kitchen or some other place that you want to celebrate in your house, they operate by appointment only. To get one-on-one expert advice, give them a call today at 717-244-2685. You can find them at 125 Householder Avenue in Red Lion. FranksGranite.com is where you can go, and you can check out their remnants. You can check out all the various things they have, from marble to quartz to quartzite to soapstone to granite. They've got it all right there. Over 600 slabs in stock, and they do it all. They don't subcontract out. Their average person has worked there for 20 years. You talk about keeping up a great standard. That's what Frank's Marble and Granite's all about. Carmine Pantano carrying on his dad's legacy right there at franksgranite.com. Give him a call again for that one-on-one appointment, 717-244-2685. No one better trusted in the area than Frank's Marble and Granite. Hey, some news you might have missed. This is a little bit of funny look at the news, so to speak. California teen, we mentioned him last week, named Shrey Parikh, won the Scripps National Spelling Bee. The winning word was Shrey Parikh. That was the winning word. He had to spell it. And he said, it was close. He almost missed it. But anyway, food prices continue to rise. Groceries are so expensive that RFK Jr. had to eat Grogu. Okay, that was what happened, they say, in this news point. I don't know if that's true or not. Let's see. The Mandalorian and Grogu has now made over $200 million. Wow. It's the biggest box office ever for Pedro Pascal and Kevin Hart. Yeah, get that one. Oreo has released a cookie inspired by the K-pop brand BTS. Ooh. And Skoal has released the dipping tobacco inspired by Kid Rock. So, yeah, that's what it says.
Synergy.
We talked about the America 250 Festival. A list of performers at the America 250 Festival is down to Vanilla Ice and Flo Rida. At this point, America just wants to celebrate its birthday at Dave & Buster's. Okay? I mean, it's a who of who and who. And the lineup has gone from sort of famous to barely famous to Celebrity Apprentice. Okay, that's what it's got down to now. The president's going to take over on that. Barry Manilow says he's only had one facelift in the last week. If you've seen Barry Manilow's face, it's been lifted a few times.
A few.
Yeah, very much so. Tom Hanks says Toy Story 5 has one of the most heartbreaking scenes in its entire franchise. Yep. Rex finally goes extinct. Okay, that's what happened. Let's see. Today is Marilyn Monroe's 100th birthday.
Oh.
Speaking of 100-year-old sex symbols, who's ready for the new Madonna album? And the New York Knicks will face the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals. We were talking about that. What's the NBA Finals? Asked the Clippers. And that's what we have this morning on news you might have missed.
Well, just to let you know, some things that happened, because now it's June 1st today.
Yes.
Florida took the year off of sorts last year, and it was sorely needed after 2024. Helene and Milton, two major hurricane strikes over on the Gulf side.
Yeah, the Atlantic hurricane season begins today.
Separated by just a couple of weeks. 2025 was actually the first year in a decade that no hurricane struck the United States coastline. So the obvious question becomes, can we make it 2 in a row? What might this season look like? 8 to 14 named storms, 3 to 6 becoming hurricanes, 1 to 3 potentially becoming majors. That does represent a slightly below average season.
What do you think?
Well, I'm hoping that there's not a lot of hurricanes this year. Of course, every year we do it, we say, oh my God, climate change, there's more hurricanes. I don't know what we say. I guess when there's less hurricanes, say, oh my God, climate change, there's not that many hurricanes around anymore. But I hope that we don't have any. I hate to see people, especially if you live down in the Florida area, people's lives are put in danger, lives are on the line, that homes and fortunes are lost. So I hope it's hope it works out this year.
It is Flip a Coin Day. Do you have a favorite? Do you call heads?
I always call
all heads. That's what
I'm a heads guy.
I think that's what Belichick used to do.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you? How about you? Do you?
No, I don't care.
It's just what it is.
I took statistics, and it's even 50-50.
It pretty much comes out,
Yes. Global. See, this is weird. It's Global Day of Parents. On the same day, it's International Children's Day.
Okay.
I know we couldn't just separate them for just one day.
Well, it kind of seems like you should be able to, but
National Go Barefoot Day.
I do that regularly around my house.
All right. See, is walking barefoot indoors the same as walking barefoot outdoors?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It is New Year's Resolution Recommitment Day. So if you gave up in March,
if you're a quitter. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that?
It is
quitter.
It is Say Something Nice Day.
Oh, yeah, so don't call someone a quitter.
And food holidays. It is National Olive Day. Yuck.
Yeah.
World Milk Day. And Heimlich Maneuver Day.
Yeah, there you go.
Are you joking?
No, it's, Are you choking or are you just happy to see me? No, it's yeah.
Oh.
Well, if they're turning blue, know the Heimlich maneuver. I mean, it really seriously does work. A lot of lives have been saved that way. So there you go. Anyway, we have almost done it all here this morning. Revs are off tonight. They'll get back in action tomorrow night. We're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to bringing you tomorrow's Tuesday program as well. Thanks to Mark. Thanks to all of you. Hope you're going to have a great week. Look for the opportunities. They're everywhere around you. I'm Gary Sutton. Have a great day, everyone. It is 9 o'clock.